Hello and welcome back to Competitions at the Range St. Louis West. This is the March 2025 Competition Skills and Drills virtual stage briefing and walkthrough. I'm your host and match director Jason. I can be reached at matches@therangestl.com. You can give me any of your feedback, criticism, snarky remarks, hate mail. It doesn't matter. I'm up for it, right? So reach out if you have any comments you want to make, or comment below if you see this video on social media. If you're not familiar with the range's competition skills and drills events, they are intended to provide a guided live fire practice under match-like conditions, typically hyper-focused if possible, on a specific skill or a subset of skills that are relevant in competition action pistol shooting, regardless of whether it's practical, defensive, or tactical disciplines. The theme for March's competition skills and drills is maintaining your firing solution through the duration of the stage. We want to have a consistent and accessible shot picture ready to apply to targets the moment they become available. Yes, I said shot picture. We can discuss the differences between a shot picture and a sight picture at some point later, or in person. I'm happy to do that. Or in the comments below. That's fine too. But shot picture, I feel, is a more appropriate term for what we're seeing when we break a shot. Also this March, we'll be using time plus scoring and stages generally designed according to IDPA rules. There are some exceptions between the stage you will see on the ground and the rules, requirements of the rules in the book. Most notably on stage 1, where I stretch things out to give us more opportunity to work on the skill. The travel distances over 20 yards, which is a violation of stage design principles in IDPA or requirements. That said, stage 2 is pretty close. There's some props I'd have to add if I wanted to use that in a sanctioned match. But that said, again, all designed around IDPA rules, but we don't, as a reminder, score procedurals during competition skills and drills, stages, or events. We want to encourage experimentation. Sure, we are focusing on the development of the shooting sports, or the development of the shooting skill, not the development of the shooting sport. Of course, if you are an active IDPA competitor, it's probably a good idea to adhere to the rules of engagement, both in your visualization and in your execution, just as a matter of keeping the context appropriate and maintaining, that habit, that good habit. So, again, maintaining your firing solution through the duration of the stage. Stage 1 was designed to provide opportunities to reduce or eliminate unnecessary assembly and disassembly of your firing solution during the entry, exit, and in transition between shooting positions. In support of that, there are 9 targets available from a minimum of 8 shooting positions. We are engaging each target with 2 rounds each, making this an 18-round stage. Side note, no procedurals during competition skills and drills matches. So if you have an 18-plus round magazine, I encourage you to use it, as it should remove some of the distractions surrounding the reloads from working on our primary goal, which is developing that maintained firing solution. If not, you should be very deliberate in your rehearsals or your visualizations on recovering your ready state, your firing solution, after a reload, right? That has to become a big part of what you're thinking about, so you spend less time. You're not entering a position with that, broken firing solution because you're still attending to a reload. We want to try and avoid that where possible. And if you have a very small capacity firearm and you would prefer to engage each target with 1 shot each, that's okay too. This is about you finding a way to work on the skill that's being presented to the best of your ability. And if you are not the skill being presented, but the skill being featured, right, in the design of the stage. Again, though, if you want to work on something else, that's your business, right? These stages are here for you. This is just a guide to help you develop. It's not a requirement of how you shoot the stage. Anyway, That said, let's get right into P1. Starting at P1, which is where we're at now, loaded to your preference, again, division capacity or whatever. You can load, you have 18 magazines, 1 round each, I don't care. Wrists below belt, facing downrange. Your PCC shooters will have stock on belt, muzzle horizontal to the floor, pointing at the seam in the walls that you see in front of you, direct middle of the screen. At the audible start, engage all targets from cover when cover is available, especially for you IDPA shooters. Now this is a symmetrical stage. From P1 you can advance left to P2 or right to P3. You'll have a mirrored engagement. So for the purpose of this walkthrough, we're just going to assume left, though it's the same if you go right. So from P1 we advance forward to P2. There's a single target available from P2. This is the fault line for P2. Target T4. Continuing left, the next position of cover that's mandatory is P5. There is a target T8 available here. Stepping just a little bit to the left, at P4, there's target 1, T1. Just a quick note about this, you can find a position here where both of those targets are likely available. That is a procedural in IDPA. Obviously, we're not scoring them. So if you're running USPSA, you might want to look for this position instead. If we want to drop a pacer on the ground, that's fine with me. I don't really care. But the idea here is to work your sport, right? Ideally, though, you come into this position, you engage T8, you move on over to P4 and engage T1. From there, you'll move right across the screen if you're across the stage, if you're shooting this IDPA style, in which case T3 becomes available as a surprise target. It remains available as you move across the middle of the stage. The next position you would need to approach in IDPA scoring would be P6 for T9 in the back, stepping a little bit to the right for P7 to position 7 to engage target 2. There we go back to the middle of the stage and advance forward to the only position that has 2 targets. This is position 9. You've got T5 on the left, T6 on the right, and then you can go left or right from here. Again, we're assuming left, where you will engage T7 from either P8 on the left or P10 on the right. And that's it. That's stage 1. I would like to see us all get 2 runs through the stage. I understand that might be unlikely. Increasing positions has a tendency to slow stages down tremendously. I would like to see that the elimination of that slowdown be a byproduct of shooting when the shot picture is accessible and appropriate. There's no reason to come to complete stops, especially for single target positions. And I'd like to see that. I think that would be a byproduct of shooting exactly the moment the shot is available, that you won't be stopping hard for hard setups on all these positions. We'll see. So stage 2 likely will move a lot quicker, right? There's far less shooting positions. It is in the open stage. You're intended to be shooting on the move. There are 6 targets, 3 rounds each for a total again of 18 rounds. And as before, you can run that 18 plus magazine if you like. I encourage you to do so because it will help you focus on the skill rather than dealing with the speed with which you have to reload. The purpose of stage 2 is the same, again, while moving. So some of the things that are the same, we're still relying on the acceptability of the evolving shot picture, right? Because you're moving as the target's visible. The evolving shot picture to dictate when the shot needs to be broken or sent downrange. Luckily now, without the crutch of fault lines and positions to sort of distract you and make it seem like the position is the most important thing, it's not. The accessibility, availability of the correct shot is the most important thing. So target focus, again, in both cases, target focus is critical. And target focus is a very hard skill to develop if you've been shooting for a long time under the weight of that hard front sight focus. It can be very difficult to transition to target focus. I'm not an expert on how to do that transition, but I will tell you this, that target focusing is very important to reducing the amount of time you spend dwelling on a target before breaking the shot. It just is. And that's a large part of what we're really getting after with these skill sets, or by developing these skills. And I think on this stage, in the open moving, you're going to see bigger. There's going to be a larger impact, negative impact, if target focus is difficult for you. Starting at P1, stage 2. Starting at P1, loaded to your preference again, wrists below belt, facing downrange. For PCC shooters, the stock will be on belt. The muzzle will be pointing at the base of target 1. That's the first target nearest the position, the starting position. At the audible start, engage all targets in the open with 3 rounds each and in tactical priority near to far. Let's go ahead and do that. So you start behind cover, you step out after the buzzer, you begin engaging T1 with 3 rounds, minding the non-threats or no shoots behind it, right? You want to keep true shots through that. That's part of that shot picture, right? In the periphery. Then from T1, you move through to an appropriate shot on T2. T2, you move around the wall to T3, again 3 rounds each. From here, a slight movement around that barrel to pick up T4, and then pivot right for T5 and T6, which we're going to call equal priority for the sake of engagement. All the other ones, T1, T2, T3, T4, in that order, T5 and T6 at the end. So we went through that really quick. I expect this to be a much faster stage. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going through 3 runs in stage 2 for every 2 runs in stage 1, but it might be even faster than that. And as a reminder, the skill that we're developing is the most important part of the competition skills and drills night. The scores are not important at all. It's hard to get that out of your mind when you're trying to do your best, but I would rather see everyone walk slowly through the stage, executing the skill to perfection, or as close to perfection as they can, rather than blazing through the thing and then hiccuped by unnecessarily long or complex target engagements. So I'm going to ask the scorekeepers or another volunteer in each stage to yell up whenever they see a loaded firearm dipping below shoulder height, and to yell out whenever, especially on stage 1 or only on stage 1, to yell out whenever a muzzle breaches a port. It's important not just in regular competitions, we're all community here, but it's important, especially in competition skills and drills, to prioritize each other's development, no matter if you perceive the skill gap between you and the person you're providing that feedback to be large, small, or too competitive to give away the keys to the kingdom. We want everyone to develop, the community as a whole. As your competitors get better, you will get better too. That's a fact, and there's no other way around it. So, rising tide lifts all boats sort of thing. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Again, I'm Jason. I'm available at matches@therangestl.com or on social media in a couple different ways. If you don't know how to get a hold of me, someone will, I promise. I look forward to seeing you at the 3rd Thursday, March 2025 for competition skills and drills. Until then, stay safe, shoot straight, and I'll see you at the range.